Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. I'm actually here on what isn't quite the finish of the fourth day. In fact, it's going to go on for a good bit of time now. In fact, it's 11 o'clock in Australia, and it's some 6 hours behind. I think it's 5 p.m. in RAWALPINDI, which will mean they could play for up to an hour depending on how the light goes. So we'll wait and see how that turns up. But yeah, the game's going on there. Paul Newman said he'll try and stay awake, which he may not be able to do. But yes, at the moment, Australia are some 6 for 425. And there's been any changes. No, there hasn't been a change. 6 for 425. And no Australian has scored a century at this point in time. All batsmen have been getting reasonable scores, but no one has actually scored a century. It's intriguing. Certainly the score is healthy, but it's not dominant. And the likes of the Neumann, who's come, not Norman, but Neumann, who's bowling there for Pakistan, has done well. He's taken some 4 wickets and very admirable indeed, actually. He's outwitted the Australian batsman with some rather interesting leg side deliveries. Basically, have been done, you would argue, deliberately there. I think it's been pretty impressive. Indeed. So 4 for Neumann as Green and Smith 4. That's what the stats are saying, and it's exactly how it pans out. And everywhere I look, I can see pictures of Warner. It's becoming a little bit haunting, I must say. Yeah, but the scorecard of Australia reads, you would say, rather healthy, but not dominant as you would expect them to be, with Pakistan being 4 for 476. Declared, with Azhar Ali and Imam al-Haq getting big hundreds, 185, 157. Australia, of course, and Usman Khawaja looked very commendable. He was on 97. But yeah, Warner got 68. Labuschagne today got 90. Smith got 78 just now, got out. Travis said 8. And Cameron Green 48. So Alex Carey's currently 11 with Mitchell Stark. So this is a road that these batsmen should be getting big centuries. You'd be only 2 or 3 wickets down, not 6 in my opinion. So in the so-called stakes here, you would argue that Pakistan are well ahead. They may not have enough time to get a result, but psychologically, and they won the mental war somewhat, and they're looking very good. And the Australians can continue to sweep, and a lot of reverse sweeps going on, and it doesn't seem to really pay off. Khawaja, Smith have all got out to, even Green, I think, also got out to a shot that was. They're not necessarily. It's not necessary to sweep as often. I think the Pakistani batsmen play a lot of the better shots that really, Paul Dim was asking, can they handshake at the end of the day? Well, you would think that's going to be the end result, Paul, yes, but I actually don't necessarily think it's deserving that. Pakistan deserves to get a mental upper hand here. Australian batsmen can make confidence for long periods, they can, but they're not getting centuries. They're not getting centuries. Now, that is pivotal. 2 of the Pakistani batsmen not only got centuries, they got big centuries. So I think you would argue that Pakistan are certainly in some sort of position of ascendancy here, even though they're not going to necessarily win the match, and with the rain overnight affecting the ground, virtually losing a complete session, which could have made some difference. It's unfortunate to see Pakistan doing really well, but not going to win the match. But look, they deserve all the accolades. They put a magnificent 4 for 476. They could have got a lot more runs. Australia was 6 for 426. They could easily bundle that for less than 476, losing all their wickets. Interesting how Stark went ahead of Cummins. I'm not sure. He's faced 2 balls, 15 runs, so he's not exactly going aggressively for ball 1. Yeah, so I don't quite know what's going on here. Well, yeah, I'm sure everybody's watching the match rather than listening to me, so that's why we've got not many people watching. But I went on early for a reason. I was trying to go pre-show, but I didn't. But I'm expecting there to be quite a bit of interest, especially let's have a few more wickets. Neumann, I'll call him. Neumann. He's got wickets, taking 4 wickets. It's a big effort on this ground, and he seems to cleverly. They're saying that he bought wickets. Well, you've got to be able to put. You've got to make the batsmen think they are doing that. So that's one of the things, which is important. So we've got not many viewers. I mean, all the viewers are watching the game, aren't they? And come on a bit early. Indian interest has dropped off because their game's already over. They've already smashed Sri Lanka by innings and 222 runs yesterday. And albeit this game is still ongoing, it looks pretty much like a draw. And yeah, Paul Newman made it. Sorry, I meant can't concentrate too long periods. Okay. The fact is that the weather's clear. They had such poor weather overnight, which caused the ground to be very soggy indeed. But now it seems quite clear skies. It's now just after 5 p.m. there, and they look like they're going to be trying their level best to go to 6 p.m., which is good. Which is again roughly the time they would normally have stopped play by now. They normally start at 10, don't they, and finish at 5, as opposed to what Australia used to, which was 11 o'clock to 6. And I rather like those times, 11 to 6. It's 10 to 5 in Pakistan. They're playing at 6 anyway because they didn't start until well after lunch. I've been most impressed with the way the Pakistanis have gone about this game. They've had a few catches which could have been caught, a few near chances. There was one just before, but eventually Green went, but he popped one over the first slip there, but he eventually got out. Sajid Khan. Alex Carey's a good bat. He's just hit a 4 through mid-off Sajid Khan. He was on the 16 and scores 430 for 6, but this wicket's a road, so you would expect them to do nothing less than get a lot of runs. I'm just wondering. I mean, yeah, people were saying the Pakistan batted slowly in the first innings. I don't think so. They batted particularly well. They could have gone a lot longer. Anyway, Australia have had to fight. They've batted pretty well, but they haven't dominated, have they, really? They've gotten into positions where they should have dominated, and they just didn't convert. Now, that's the difference. Asar Ali, and obviously Imam Al-Haq got big century yesterday. I think Virendra Kari's telling me the score's 6 for 430, that's correct. But Pakistan did it somewhat easier and more controlled, and there's an overwhelming amount of sweep shots and reverse sweeps, which I'm not impressed by. I don't think many people are. That they're good for the short form, but not for Test cricket. And I think it puts the bowler off. In fact, the bowler loves it because often a wicket falls on those type of deliveries. Interesting how Stark's gone out there. If he's gone out before Cummins and he's a designated hitter, well, he hasn't done that yet. He's 2 off 17, Carey's 16 off 28. So Australia so-called trail by 46. Well, it's technically correct. They are behind by 46, but they've only got 4 wickets left. They've only got bowlers left to bat with the keeper. Cummins being one of them, and you got Stark and Hazlewood, who you wouldn't think was not Stark, sorry, Lyon and Hazlewood. You wouldn't think they'd hang around very long. So wait and see. Everyone's talking about the overwhelming hospitality of Hello Sumant Shastri. You haven't got anything about India to talk about there. India had their win. I heard that Axar Patel is now in the squad for the next Test match in place of Kuldeep Yadav. Axar Patel is exceptional. He always bowls very well. Would have been better than Yadav, I think. So Shaheen Freddie's coming under bowl. It looks like he's taking some very big stretches there. He's about to get the ball. And this could be an important part. If he might blast through a few wickets here and may actually see Australia be, if they get all out below the Pakistani total, it is a psychological victory for Pakistan. There's still a day and a bit to go to play. Unlikely to be a result, but having said that, it's still very commendable that Pakistan got that lead, and it's given Australia something to think about for the next 2 Test matches. Should Australia make changes into the next Test match? Should Pakistan? I'd like to see Harris Rafe get his opportunity. He was meant to be in the side ahead of a few other players. Can Australia beat India in India? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. If India get their batting lineups right, there certainly is. Oh, hello. Looks like Shaheen's taken a wicket and he's not giving it out. That looked out to me. They're immediately going to revise it. They're not. But Babar Azam's asking, is it or not? And he's not getting confidence from anyone. He's going to go upstairs. Good. It was worthy of a DRS. It looked close enough. The umpire was quite adamant that it was not going to hit the stumps, but we'll just see. It looks like it was in line though. Whether it was angling away is the question. The DRS looks like some severe lightning going on. Right. Yeah, it does look a little bit wide, but full. Did you hear the disrespectful comments by Kavaska about Warren? No, I didn't, Paul. Text us. Tell us what that is. Let me get them up. Aussie Test Champions this time. Yeah, Paul, get those comments up. I'd like to hear them because, yeah, look, people are not keen about his drinking and his smoking and everything. But there was some German girl that got on the vehicle and gave him on his morgue vehicle that was a bit perplexing. But he was a fan. She was a fan apparently. Well, she should have been given permission to go on that vehicle anyway. But Shane Warne couldn't do much about it. He's dead. So can Australia beat Sri Lanka, Paul? Oh, honestly, at home, it's going to be a lot closer than you think. But you would hope that they could. If they can't beat Sri Lanka, they might as well forget about it. At home, it's going to be difficult. They have had difficulty before against them at home. India in particular, they'll be having trouble with. And Pakistan, they're in a whole lot of hurt here. Even though they've scored 6 for 430, no one's got a century. And I'm saying that's pretty... Kishore Chaudhary saying RCB captain. Are you saying that you know who the captain is? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Tell us. Because I haven't heard anything on the grapevine just yet. Oh, and hello, there we go. There's a lot of attempted dismissals going on here, so that was obviously not out. Shaheen he's doing a lot, very much what Stark did actually. A lot of full balls there. Will New Zealand retain the championship? No. I don't think that. Pakistan versus Australia series will be 1-1 draw. Good result for India. Well, it is a good result for Pakistan, I would argue, too. Australia's actually 1 and Pakistan's 2 at the moment because Sri Lanka getting beaten in that first test match against India's already dropped Sri Lanka down. So, yeah, that's pretty good. And I like the way we're all talking here. I'm glad we're all talking about where they fit in the WTC. It's important that we think that way. Every match is going to count. Looking at Lions World Test Championship final teams, India versus South Africa or India versus Australia. Hema, ready? I don't see South Africa being in there. It's going to be India, Australia, and potentially Pakistan, but certainly not South Africa. Dinesh Karthik can be RCB captain. You would think not. You would think not. I would say no to that actually. A draw. Row at 140. I mean, this match will be a draw. Well, but there's still a lot to play for here because if Australia get bundled out for less than the total that Pakistan declared, it's psychological victory first innings. As far as the last day is concerned, the play, well, Pakistan might throw a quick wobbly and hit a few runs in the first session and give Australia a total. You never know. They might be adventurous. I don't think they will be, but Pakistan should, if they get Australia all out in the next half an hour or so, they should bat the rest of the test and really grind it away and make the Australian bowlers feel the conditions and really get a bit sick and sore because by the second test they could be a few bowling changes based on injury or fatigue. So that'd be interesting. So Pakistan should just go about their match, get these Australians out now. They've got 4 weeks to be psychologically in front total-wise and then just simply bat out the rest of the time and give Australia a lot of fielding practice and tire them somewhat. That would be clever. Australia would be in the field at least 3.5 days out of the 5. Well, what I'm saying. Well, I'm not seeing any evidence of Australia going for it. They're playing rather. Why would you have promoted Stark over Cummins? That's, oh my God. What happened there is balls him on the toes, and there was a potential catch, and he dropped it, and bit of a confusion there. But look, if that was thrown on the pads, he would have been LBW, but he must have got some bat on that. So we've still got Hazelwood and Lyon with Cummins. Looking at each other's watches there. Time-wise, it's now, well, are they, what are they thinking? They're not, I thought they may have got, there was one too many up. They've got the little kit, they've got the little light kit there in their hands now. Someone's walked out and given it to them, which, is, you would argue, a little bit premature. So Pauline was telling me, Wade is available before 6-8 for the IPL. Yeah, he may well be, and that's fair enough. Basically, Grasser said Murali and other Indian bowlers were better than Warne. That's a hard one to cop because Murali wasn't a better bowling, more prolific wicket taker. Kumble was certainly better. I mean, the way that Ashman's bowling is certainly fantastic, but Warne was theatre, let's be honest. Gasker's, that's a bit of a strange comment. No one else is saying that around the world. The English are certainly not saying that. The South Africans are not saying it. The New Zealanders are not saying that. West Indies are not saying that. So it's only a few countries, Bangladesh, I'm pretty sure, I think a lot of Warne. India generally thinks highly of Warne. Australia should bat till they've had school. So don't just grind at Pakistan bowls. I do see right. They're not going to be able to because they're not going to have enough batsmen left. They're already 6 down for 432. They're still 44 runs behind. I can't see these batsmen necessarily lasting another day or so in the batting department at all. Yeah, look it up, Norm. Okay, about the article, I will. It's a bit of a shock because the whole world. I mean, as you know, I mean, Australia, England, South Africa, West Indies, Bangladesh. Who else is there? India in particular, certainly Sri Lanka, even though they have got Murali, would agree that Warne's probably the best. That's interesting. I'm not just saying that because he happens to be Australian. I think very strongly that he certainly was theatre and he was one of a kind. And okay, he did some bad things like smoked and carried on with girls or whatever. But I'll tell you, a lot more players do that than we actually know. Some of the most mild-mannered ones are doing it every day. So let's not just generalise there. He was theatre. And he won big games. He was in the 99 World Cup. He was both the semi-final and the finalist man of the match. That says a lot. Oh, Sajid seemed to almost get through there. It's disappointing that the top order batsmen of Australia, who did all contribute, none of them got a century. Well, I think it was at least 5 50s, but no centuries. And on such a placid ground, someone should have went on and got a big 100, as did Azhar Ali and, of course, Imam Ul Haq. Got 157, 185 respectively. So they went big. The biggest Australia's got 97, really. Yeah, I mean, of course, they have solid scores, the 97, 90 and the 78 that Smith hit and 48 that Cameron Green hit and a few 60s there as well. Yeah, they're all sound, but they're not match-winning efforts, are they? They certainly didn't stand out as much. Also, Murali was 3 years younger than Warne. Also, Warne was banned for 1 year as well. Remember that he would have gone well over 800. Look, Shane Warne could have played for 3 or 4 more years, which Murali ended up doing. And yeah, that 1 year we had banned substance. Yeah, Shane Warne could have gotten a whole lot more wickets, but could have, should have. The record shows that Murali got the most wickets, and Shane Warne was probably the most celebrated. He was, don't forget, and Gavaskar's forgetting this. He was one of only 5 players as the Wisden cricketer of the century, of the previous century. And there were no Indians. I mean, you would argue Tendulkar may have been worthy of being up there. Maybe he didn't qualify for some reason, but Jack Hobbs, I went and looked at his stats, Jack Hobbs, today. He had very good domestic levels, and his test level was very good, but I don't think he was that outstanding, so I'm not exactly sure why that happened. I would have put both of them in there. I would have not had Jack Hobbs. I would have had both of them. I would have had Bradman, both of them, Sobers, Richards, and of course Shane Warne. That would have been a better 5. throw a bit of a yawn there. So Shaheen's got 1 for 7 out of 26, but he's had a few wickets that should have went his way. So also, yeah, so it would have gone well over. Well, Warren, if he played, he could play another 5 years easily because he wasn't really doing much. His physical fitness actually improved after he left. Could have easily kept it going, just bowled, and he still had the knack of his bowling. He could have probably got a whole host more wickets, but could have, should have, would have, if could have, all that. That's statements. You forget all that when the stats become real. And yeah, Australia will go down as not winning this Test match at this stage. And if they get all that below the 4-7 match, psychologically they lost in the first innings. The starting carrier there, and they got Hazelwood, Lyon, and Cummins. So Cummins is a better bat than Stark. I don't know why he's not in there. Anyway, off to bed. Good night. See you, Paul. Good work. Thank you for contributing as much as you have already in the last 20 minutes. Cummins is not liking the short balls at all. So in terms of play, I don't know how many overs are left, but it's now 5:24 p.m. in Rawalpindi. So they could play for another half an hour, and we should see more wickets fall. Let's have a look at this. One thing about Shane Warne was very true. They did say that he gave as much as he had. He gave it all. He was not even rated as a player when he first started. He somehow got in quite cheaply and quite quickly, but he made up for it, and he slogged his guts out and got fit and ended up being a very competent bowler, and then kept learning from Terry Jenner, who was the former Australian leg spinner who he was mentored by, and a lot of presence there. The Pakistanis love the solar energy. They're into that now. What time is it in Australia? It is now 11:25 p.m. And Shaheen are free coming in. Well, some good short balls, and it's taking a start by some way to have to try and negate them. 132 overs have been bowled, and they haven't really gotten close. So Gavaskar said Shane Warne had poor record against India. Batsmen who are best players of spin, therefore he won't call Warne the greatest spinner of all time. Well, who is the greatest spinner of all time? Rohit Sharma is my favourite player. Oh, I think so too. But Shane Warne has to be up. Well, he clearly, for Wisden Cricket of the Year, only to have 5 players and Shane Warne one of them, that's a pretty big accolade. It is. I mean, having Viv Richards, Bradman in that lot with Warne, and then 2 others, Hobbs and Sobers. Well, they clearly got it right with those players. Bradman, Sobers, Richards, and the 4th spot being Warne. That's all true. The only one was a bit dubious was Jack Hobbs, but obviously the English want to put somebody in there. I respect that. Yes, Khawaja 97, Labuschagne 90, Smith 78, Warner 68. So they all got half centuries, but nothing go on with it. And then obviously we had Cameron Graham 48. So 5 very commendable scores out of the top 8 batsmen used. Indeed. Any other questions, guys? Thailand police find out some blood on the Warner's room. Yeah, I've seen that, but it's also looks like it's gone nowhere. That whole commentary. Yeah, he may have coughed up some blood. Maybe he had a heart problem that led to him choking on blood as well. But he died of a heart attack. And it looks quite innocuous in the end. And thankfully, it wasn't anything controversial. This German girl that got put in flowers, maybe she was a bit of a friend, but it wouldn't matter. He was not married any longer. Nor was he in a relationship with Liz Hurley. He was free and easy, and he was happy. So, in Pakistan's innings, let's have a look at that. Pakistan got, as we know, 4 for 476, and they were there for 162 overs. Australia are they've bowled 133, they're in 133 now, so 30 overs shy, but they've only got 40 runs. So yeah, the run rate's been obviously better with the Australian batsmen, but they've lost many more wickets. So who's to win there? About Shaheen. When I want career low of 2.56, you want to know about Shaheen? Well, he's obviously a great pedigree. He's a very tall young fellow and 6 foot. He's not 6'8", but 6'3" or 4. And holding his own here, he's testing the Australian batsman very much. In fact, this is now Nazim, the 19-year-old, who did, I think it was unearthed when he played Australia. Quite fast. So, big future there for him. Rizwan's had a bit of a tough time with it. He's got some sore fingers there, I think, from when he batted. But yeah. This Nazim impresses me too. His pace is very, very good. Pakistan onwards and upwards. They've got a plethora of great players coming through. Interesting I love to know how they found Sajid Khan and Naima. Was it just through their various state or provincial teams, and that's how they came through? Because they're not look like cricketers to me. They look more like park cricketers. They've got this look about it. They look more casual, but they're not. They're actually very good bowlers and did very well of late in previous Test series that Pakistan were involved in. Pakistan, England, New Zealand, and having Australia, they've got 3 big guns coming in the next 12 months. Or less than 12 months, in fact. You can believe exposure. And if Pakistan can hold their own and do well on their own grounds, well, then good luck to them. If they've got the players who like their grounds, and clearly Azhar Ali does, and clearly Imam al-Haq love it, with 185, 157 respectively. I hope that Pakistan will make a proper test pitch the next match. Look, actually, 140 stop bag in this pitch. This is a proper test wicket. It is a proper test wicket. It's a really good pitch, and look, good bowlers can extract something, and we've got wickets taken today, which show me that it's just not all the batsmen's way if they bowl well. Nazim's bowling really well, he's tucking them up, making the short balls count, and no, there's nothing to be sneezed at there. This is pretty reasonable bowling effort, actually. Kerry's been there. He's on 16 off 37 deliveries. Stark's almost reached it. He's at 6 off 30. He hasn't got run-wise. He hasn't. So I'm perplexed as to why Stark went before Cummins. Stark, to me, if he was sent out to be aggressive, he's not doing it. And we're into the 4th day here, guys. Even though we started late, we started almost 2.5 hours late today. And we're going about an hour or so later. I think they'll even thinking we're going to 6:30. So we'll wait and see. And the time is, there's Harris Ralph under the hood right now. 11:30 now. It's 5:30 p.m. in Rawalpindi. So I've had with my mother's situation, I've had a pretty long week. Okay, score please. Roberts 140. The Australia was 6 for 434. I should put that on the bottom, shouldn't I? And banners, there we go. Quite a banner. So, what have we got here? Australia. Now, 6 for, how much? 6 for 435. Not the easiest thing to type here. So, and of course, Pakistan were 4 for 474. 4 for 476, I should say. Pakistan 4 or declared 476. Oops, I have to amend that. That's a bit of a mistake. There we are. There we are. Pakistan were 4 for 476 declared. Doesn't look like it says declared, but it does. Declared for 476, and Australia kind of 6 for 435, with Stark on 6 off 30 balls, which is very slow, and Kerry 17 off 40. Badly that Mars and Kawaja missed there too. Quite disappointing. Australia number 1 ranked test team despite no away series. But then, your thoughts on that? Well, Disney, it's not really fair. They should have travelled to South Africa. They should have had that series. So, and we'll see how they go in the future. But Australia, the best test team at the moment, I would say. It's a good question. India probably are. I mean, Pakistan, they get their acting, they could well be up there. They are already. They're running second. And New Zealand, the day can still be good if they get back Kane Williamson. Certainly. And I would not say that Australia, they could well be fourth out of that group, depending on where it's played, of course. Shaheen, as the sun certainly is going down pretty rapidly here, and as they go to the lights, they'll be off before too long. 5:35 p.m. The sun's already pretty much gone. Rizwan's got a sore finger. He didn't bat as well as I would have liked him to. There's certainly some lightning going on. All right. It's very hot, and he's not happy. He's not happy, Rizwan. He may well be taken out of his keeping duties, which will be interesting. Well, that was taken quite normally, but he's felt pain, which is interesting. Why New Zealand always struggle against Australia? Psychological, right? Unfortunately, it's definitely it is a big brother syndrome they haven't really wiped off, I must say. So Stark 6 off 31 deliveries, Kerry 17 off 41. Not the bowling figures. Well, 6 for 436. A fair bit of clapping going on. Iftikhar and Iman, and they're having some fun with Brisbane. They've got a great rapport, these guys. Much better than Australia, I would argue. Well, it looks that way. It seems to be. Why is it? Okay, we already answered the question. Here we go. This is Shaheen Afridi to start. I reckon he's going to take this wicket. Bowling short, and Starks handling it quite reasonably. It certainly is hot here in Australia. Oh boy. But don't forget, guys, that I'm now. View, like, and share the post, subscribe, hit the notification button, do make comments, be a part of the show. All very good to see and hear. You got the conferences between Australia and Pakistan. Can I cover this? I'm getting a bit of a message to do cover what I'm covering. Yep. I can do that. It'll be interesting when this particular funeral is. What date? Do we have a date? it would be an incredible event if they have the so-called funeral procession at the MCG. They did for Dean Jones a bit actually too, and they're expecting one like which is 100,000 people filling the MCG for Shane Warne. There's one stand, of course, is going to be called the SK Warne stand. It's quite a big deal. It's quite a big deal. It's going to be something. Let's just see whether that happens. One whack is 100,000. It won't surprise me. Melbourne Knights will turn out in droves. It'd be quite exciting. Well, not that a funeral should be exciting, but let's just see what the story is there. I might go down there and I might observe this. Hopefully it's on sooner rather than later, only because it's, yeah, will suit everybody involved. I still can't get over this. TikTok are actually sponsoring the tournament here in Pakistan, the so-called Beno Kadir Trophy, as we've now got the Richards Botham Trophy, which is taken over from the naming of the Wisdom Trophy they used to have prior. And whether it's going to be boy, it wouldn't surprise me if Shane Warne doesn't command 100,000 people. Big, great spectacle. No one would have expected to have that sort of spectacle this late or this early. And getting caught by Estebacious.
Yeah, it's going to be held next week because they have not mentioned the date.
No problems.
Warne's manager James Erskine, he has said that it will be held in MCG in front of 1 lakh crowd.
Wow, magnificent.
It will be a state
I'll
funeral.
be definitely there. I'll definitely go.
Yeah.
Wouldn't miss it. Can be hard to get tickets.
No, because Herald's fan has also reported it.
I'm going. I'm definitely going to go to Shane Warne's funeral. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be nice.
Yeah, I will do buses. Okay.
Okay. What time it is now?
In Australia, it is now 11:41 p.m.
Oh, sorry. I should have called you tomorrow.
That's okay.
Sorry, man.
No worries. No worries, Russ.
Yeah.
We'll talk
tomorrow.
Okay then. Ciao.
Please plan.
I'm planning. I'm planning big time.
To attend to St. Moritz.
I'm planning big time.
Yeah. Okay. See you.
Ciao.
Yeah. Ciao.
Yes, I've just been asked to cover and I was going to go anyway. Warne is an incredible person. How many Australian players has he directly affected? Can you mention it? Steve Smith, even. Steve Smith. He's affected Shane Watson. He affected David Warner, Adam Zampa, Michael Clark. They've all, Aaron Finch, Glenn Maxwell, they actually had Warne on their walls. A lot of the current past players, when they come together, are like as what we describe Shane Warne as a Pied Piper. Everybody comes to him, he's drawn to him, he wants to ask him questions, wants to be around him. Even Ian Chappell, Brian Lara, Tendulkar, hello. Carey's been absolutely comprehensively bowled by the seam. Absolutely went straight through him, and Carey's out for 9 off 43 deliveries. Australia now 7 for 444, and in the last rows of the 136th over. Beautiful ball. Nazim's a great bowler, and that ball's it went straight through him, top of off stump. Very, very comfortable. So that's 7 down for 444. Now they're still 30 odd runs behind, and I can see them not making it. and after, don't forget, Pakistan declared 4 down. So psychologically, it's huge for Pakistan. Now with Stark will be accompanied now by, I believe, Cummins, with Hazel and the Lions still to go. Is that? It looks like Cummins, yeah. So 7 for 444. There's still some 32 in arrears. The pitch should be lively or to endorse Test cricket. These pitches will decrease the interest of people. No, I don't agree. That's right. I don't agree at all. This has been an enthralling Test match. Enthralling. I'm riveted. I love it. And we're not going to get a result, but that doesn't necessarily reflect the pitch being bad. Look, Nazim has just gone straight through Alex Carey, the great delivery. The bowlers have to find a way to win over it, and Pakistani bowlers have taken 7 wickets. So you can't say that this is necessarily a bad pitch. So Pat Cummins has played 39 Test matches with 56 innings, a total of 780 runs at a batting average of 16.25. He's actually hit 250s with the best of 63. So admirable, but not great. Certainly, I wouldn't go as far as calling him an all-rounder, put it that way. Yeah, let's not say that these are dead pitches. This pitch has been a brilliant pitch. Look, I much prefer this than some pitch where it rolls or is very well bounced to the point of distraction or danger. At least this has got a reasonable bounce and pretty good condition in case to favour the batsman. So that's the way some tests go. Let's see if Nazim can, with Australia trailing by 32 runs. They've got 3 wickets left. Not forgetting that Pakistan declared 4 down. Azhar Ali's 185 was fantastic. Imam Al-Haq's 157 was also fantastic. In the Australian innings, well, I mean, obviously Khawaja was very stylish and deserved the century and played. They're all playing these stupid sweep shots and reverse sweeps, and they don't work. There's been a few wickets today that have come from those, certainly, including Khawaja's last night. So Khawaja got in love with Shane, also played a rather poor shot. Smith played a poor shot. Head did as well. Head was actually caught behind. It was kind of a regulation catch. Green played a poor shot. They played lofted, rather ambitious shots. This pitch is great for stat padding. Well, it is right. Horses for courses. The rest of the world play on these pitches. There's certain pitches which are nowhere near as good. The wickets fall really quickly. We get teams out for less than 100 or thereabouts. Well, do you blame that? What about them being bad pitches? No, I think this is a fair pitch. They're checking the light at the moment. You've got this weird meter right over the stumps. And it's now 5:46 p.m., which, it's been very dark of late. And they're having a look, or they're quite happy, and they're checking it again. It's beneficial that Pakistan continue to field, actually, but they may prevent the faster bowlers being on. That's going to be a draw. Still interesting. Who played more Test matches for Australia currently? Who played the most Test matches? Probably Nathan Lyons, not the most. He's got over 100 Test matches. Warner and Smith are getting up there. The bowlers are certainly getting along as well, but yeah, I think Nathan Lyon's got over 100 Test matches, certainly. 106 even. Warner's fast approaching 100. Smith's in the 80s, 83, I think it is. Who else is there? So, well, it was a good delivery. Very good delivery. Top of off stump. It's what you're taught as a 19-year-old when you bowl, take the top off stump, and that's what he's done. Now, Babar Azam is going to bowl himself now. He's ready. This is his second ball now. Not sure whether that's a very smart decision to have. He's just been constantly driven for by Cummins. I don't know why we need to put him on there at this stage. Anyway. Cummins played a reasonable shot. Ordinary ball, let's be honest. Who played more test matches? I already mentioned. What should Australia Aussie for the second match to win? What should Australia Aussies do for the second test to win the match? Well, they're going to need to bring in Ashton Agar for sure. Probably Stark, maybe the one to move out of the way. Batting wise, well, they've all been pretty solid, but no one's scored centuries. I can as well. Who are we going to bring on to replace them as well? So no. I think they'll keep the side almost the same. They may bring another spinner in, which would mean one of the fast bowlers will be left out. What should be the team composition for Australia team in this next match? Should Swepson or Agar? I guess Agar will get a go. Guernsey. Swepson probably not. Pulver's played 38 test matches and only taken them on wicket, so he's not a regular bowler by any stretch of imagination. What is the detailed score, please? No idea. Why is Amber not in? Well, again, Vijay Nurgat, I would like to know too. So, yeah, Pakistan were 4 for 476 declared, with Azhar Ali 185 and obviously Imam Al-Haq 157. Australia have gone to bat, and they're now they're no longer 4, are they? But how many? What are they now? Australia, they're effectively 7, aren't they? I've got to fix that. What are they? There's edit. So they're 7 for 449 now. I haven't been updating the score. 7 for 449. Getting ever closer to the total that Pakistan put on. Mind you, they only lost 4 wickets. In fact, Cummins is walking off. It looks like Stark's joining him. And at what is now local time there, 5:50 p.m., which is, of course, 11:50 p.m. here in Australia, they're walking off. And I would doubt very much that the light will get any better. That's probably the end of the day's play. With the team now, Khawaja was caught Imam Al-Haq, bowled Neumann for 97. Warner was bowled Sajid Khan for 68. Labuschagne was caught Shafiq, bowled Shaheen for 90. Steve Smith was caught Rizwan bowled Neumann for 78. Travis Head, pretty unfortunate, didn't look good, was caught Rizwan with bowling Neumann for 8. He's taken now 4 for 107 off his 37 overs. Shaheen 1 for 80. Nazim 1 for 89. And Sajid Khan 1 for 122. Imam Al-Haq had 2 overs and Babar Azam's had the 1. So wickets have fallen at 156, 203, 311, 326, 407, 440, 422, and 444. So they lost 3 wickets fairly in a clump here after 137 overs. So they're under 4 and over, which is pretty reasonable. The biggest partnerships were the opening partnership 156, which was better than the Pakistan opening partnership, and for the third wicket, Smith and Labuschagne 108 in their partnership. Otherwise, there's been other reasonably steady. I mean, Smith and Green had 81. The rest have been fairly negligible in their batting partnership. So, yeah, there's been a couple there, but I'm sure the Pakistani team would have had much more, at least their innings. The day looks like it's over, where Nyman, who's got the 4 weeks, has been interviewed by the Pakistani commentator, and they're having a good chat now. Very hazy looking, but still beautiful night. I must be honest with you, Pakistani women are very beautiful. So are Indian, so are Sri Lankan, Bangladesh girls. They're all beautiful. I love the subcontinent. It's one of my favourite parts of the world. I do find a woman from that part of the world very attractive. I was married to a Sri Lankan for 15 years, hence why I like that look. And I like it, not just looks, it's the panache, the feminine way. They're very, responsible. They're very decent and very, very good looking. Yeah, the day looks like it's over through in decent. Ali, overs 37, 8 maidens, 107 with 4 wickets. Good on him. What is the meaning of veil? Veil is it's like a way of sending someone off when they pass. It's like a summary of the person's life. It's like a obituary notice. Veil is saying farewell and goodbye and providing comments as to what the person's contribution to the world has been, his family, loved by all, blah, 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 that type of things. Your favourite IPL team through in the I've said this many, many times, and you should know this. Kolkata Knight Riders is my favourite, but I do have a soft spot for Delhi Capitals. I don't mind more meanings, but Kolkata Knight Riders is my favourite. Himanshu Ruhela, Nolan Carey is not good at tests. I think Aussies think about Philippe at 7. No, they're going to put Josh English in place, Himanshu Ruhela. He's on tour actually too, and he's very close to being picked. I'm really against this reverse sweep shot as a test player. He was almost caught at the first slip. Steve Smith looked pretty sound, but then again tried to sweep and got caught. Very clever. The Pakistani bowlers know what they're doing. McDermott following Gujarat Titans on Instagram, maybe he is replacing Roy now. Apparently there was another decision about who Roy was being replaced by. I thought they already mentioned that. I can't remember the name of the person who replaced him. Cameron Green was pretty solid. He got 48, looked reasonably solid. But yeah, umpires are still out there and the batsmen are gone. And time-wise, it's now 5:54 p.m. locally. Yeah, it's rather, I don't know, it's a little bit sad to see people were distracted somewhat from the game when you look at Warne, and obviously people such as Robert Marsh. Saying Vale is a valley. Well, obviously that's not what the meaning of. It's a rather down. Yeah, it's a written or it's correct. It's a written or spoken farewell. It's a written or spoken farewell. That's the way best you can give a eulogy or spoken farewell. So I'm going to answer this question that someone was asked. Yeah, if you make a veil or someone, you basically give them an ode. You're giving them a send off in the most sophisticated, the most respectful way. I guess is the right way of looking at it. Very important. I've reached 26,000 subscribers, guys. I must thank you for that. Shadab Khan, okay. Who was your favourite spin bowler into Pakistan cricket? In the Pakistan cricket team? Abdul Qadir, absolutely. There are so many better bowlers than Nasim Hasan. Well, are there? Well, he looks pretty good to me. He's only 19. Harris Ralph should have been in the side. We all know that. And, I would have had him in the side. He would have blasted Australia. He would have given Australia some real carry. Okay? No doubt. No doubt. So, yeah, we're going to see a draw probably in this match. I can't see any other result. And I certainly can't see Australia winning, put it that way. The only hope would be that Pakistan could do a damage. Any comments to pitch? Yash Gupta, I talked about the pitch already. I don't think there's anything wrong with the pitch. It's been fantastic batting on a pitch which is more batter friendly, yes, but the bowlers toiled today, and look at Shaheen and obviously Nazim and Neumann, they got wickets. So look, like, I can't knock that. Australia didn't really have the experience on Pakistani wickets to know what to do. But yeah, big scores are being scored by the batsmen. The bowlers, if they talk properly and they have the right tactics, can take wickets. So no, the wicket's not a comment concern at all. At all. I much prefer this type of wicket where teams score big than a ground where it's treacherously wet and the ball's rolling on the ground or going above their heads and they get out for 80. I think that's worse. This is actually this is an excellent pitch. It's a typical Pakistani pitch. Typical Islamabad type pitch. And I'm trying to work out whether that was it in Karachi that Mark Taylor scored his triple hundred the last time. You know, you should be scoring big hundreds. None of the Australian batsmen scored hundreds. It's not the pitcher's fault, I'll tell you. It was their batting that was at fault, really, there. Yeah, for sure. We'll wait and see whether they give it a review of the day, but definitely it's in Pakistani's favour. You can't say it's in Australia's favour, even though some of the Australian batsmen got commendable scores. They didn't go with it. They didn't score centuries. No one did an Azhar Ali getting 185. No one did a Imam Al-Haq getting 157. They got 90s and below. And 90s are still commendable scores, but you're not finishing off what you're meant to be doing. So that's where, that's where the problems are. Yeah, it's just people asking questions, which is fair. Yeah, but so here we go. Australia's Khawaja 97, Labuschagne 90, Smith 78, Warner 68. Some very commendable scores, but just didn't. And with Greens 48, they're still not past the Pakistani score. Azhar Ali 185, Imam Al-Haq 157, Shafiq 44, and Babaga 36. But the two biggies, 185, 157, brilliant from the opener and first drop. Australia's opener, Khawaja, would be the match. We've got 97 in the first drop. Here we've got Narrowly Meadows, who I know very well. He's from Foxtel now. She's reporting on basis of Pakistan. We've got Waqar Yunus and Michael Kasprowitz there having a chat. I'm not sure who the other person is, but they're having a good old natter. A lot of the Australian squad are still out there. It's certainly gotten dark very, very quickly. Michael Kasprowitz, who played for Australia for 9. I know him and his brother pretty well, having lived in Queensland. I came across them a number of times. Pakistan should make pitches like India where IPL part-timers bowlers are taking the wickets. No, I don't agree. Shadab Khan is a better all-rounder than Iftikhar Ahmad. Okay. We may see some changes for next match there, but we know that the changes have happened to India. Well, at least the addition, kind of a change. Axar Patel's in for Kuldeep Yadav in that match, in that squad. Waqar Yunus, who's actually has his domicile, his home in Sydney, actually. We've got Thunder here. Sydney's got 78, but he didn't get 100, so it doesn't count as much. I'm afraid to say it. He knows that better than anyone else, doesn't he? He knows that better than anyone else. I do like the colour and the jackets of the commentary team with the Pakistan symbol there, the cricket board there. I really like the symbols. I like the way it looks, very, very spiff. Narrowly Meadows, he's got a Guernsey there. Here we have it, Sikandar Bakht. I don't know much about it. Can people tell me what Sikandar Bakht? I'm not aware of him. Must be, I'm assuming he's a Pakistan commentator. Hassan Ali is missing by Pakistan. He is Malham, yeah. And so is Harris Ralph. Harris Ralph will be, I think it's Harris Ralph playing this match. We would have seen some fireworks. Yeah, the amount of sweep shots Australia's playing, the Pakistanis don't play that as many sweep shots, or they play them beautifully and forward of the wicket, and then like Azhar Ali's play is just magnificent. The way he would slog sweep over the deep mid-wicket fence with great ease was just very commendable indeed. Now, I normally have people on tonight. Quite a few have had, there's been some issues with family and other matters which have stopped people coming on, which is fine. But I can have a good chat with you guys. You need to teach me Urdu and you need to teach me Hindi, you guys. Hassan Ali bowled brilliantly versus South Africa, but both in Rawalpindi and Karachi, yes, he did. And is an excellent bowler. So was Mohammad Abbas. So is Yashir Shah. I mean, there's quite a few there that I would like to see on the side who are all match winners. Pakistan are always blessed with lots of good fast bowlers and spin bowls. Some incredibly talented batsmen. Azhar Ali is just magnificent. 185 was just to die for. That was his 19th Test century as well. Test century. Very commendable. He's, Ahmed Yusuf, and as I would always call him, Yusuf Yohana, and obviously you got Inzamam Al-Haq, you got Yunus Khan, all fantastic players. All fantastic players. In fact, they're not just good, they really know how to bat. And it's quite impressive. media. So 5 minutes till Steve Smith's interview. That was more than like 10 minutes ago. So we'll wait and see. So Steve Smith is being interviewed. That'll be interesting viewing. I'll certainly be uploading that when I get that, guys. And there'll be a Pakistan video as well. So there we go. Michael Kasparov looks like he's a bit tired out there. He's got a bit of a beard going. In fact, almost the entire Pakistan team's got a beard. Us and only Bob brilliantly. We've mentioned before, Mohan. Now, someone hasn't told me about the commentator that's on screen now. Tell me his background. Okay, he was like having a chat for sure. So there's still 32 runs adrift. Sudhanshu Kumar. Kohli and Smith both stuck on 27 centuries for a long time now. Who do you think will cross the magic line first? I hope it's Kohli. Smith's, no, I hope it's Kohli. He deserves it. They've both done fantastically. The stats are already brilliant. If they don't play another game, they've done enough in terms of brilliance, let's be honest. The players are all keeping away from each other. We'll see what the Steve Waugh Smith interview will be. Neroli Meadows, who's, remember spending a fair bit of time with her at the various queues of food at the media centres around Australia. Bit of a character. Come a long way. So Pakistan and Aussie should play regularly 4 Test match series. I agree. I agree. Where they're playing 3 here, they should play. Well, they should all play 5, in my opinion. If we had enough time in a year where they should play 5, but they don't. Now with the IPL taking over 2 months, the PSL, the Caribbean League, the various World Cups, other ICC events, then the Test matches, and 1 day and T20 commitments all over the place. They've got no time to sneeze. You think 4 tests? I even think 5. I'll obviously 5 because that really tests the team. That's where you get the truths. Norman He's showing the wicket now. A bad sweep from Khawaja 97 got him out, and then Travis Head looked. He was only there for a short time, and then another sweep attempted. All sweep shots where they got the wickets. Norman's very happy. Clearly, they're selecting for a good reason. No. Pakistan Zindabad. I like that statement. Remember interviewing people on TV Arcana, ARCANA, which was probably a Pakistan channel, and we talked about Gaddafi saving Lahore, and I interviewed Jeff Lawson, Mike Whitney, Lenny Pascoe, Jeff Thompson, Doug Walters, Greg Chappell, Andy Bickle, Adam Hollyoak, a whole host of people. Jimmy Maxwell, Barry Knight, a lot of Australian legends. And it was just magnificent. Even John Dyson I got to interview. Neroli Meadows is just foiled with farewells there. I'm not exactly sure what she said, but she was smiling. Comment on the pitch. I have commented on the pitch. I think the pitch is fine. I have no issues with the pitch whatsoever. Okay, it was a batting-friendly pitch, yes, but it tests the bowlers and batsmen. A number of the Australian batsmen have not got centuries. A number of the Pakistani bowlers have taken, in fact, 4 wickets. So clearly you can get wickets and you can get runs, but you've got to apply yourself in both conditions. It's probably hard to get wickets, but if you have the right tactics, like try to get them out on their rather pathetic sweep shots, well then, deservedly so, they do take wickets. Absolutely. Yeah, so it's very impressive. Anyone else have any questions? We'll go on to day 5 very happily. I think Pakistan, they've got still 30 odd runs in front, but they've only got to get 3 more wickets. Pity they didn't get the 3 tonight, but they went close. Only the bowlers left. Not much resistance, you would argue. I mean, I'd be more confident with Shami and Bumrah, the way they bat. They think they go for it. We know that Stark can certainly hit. Yes, and Cummins can have a bit of a dig. They've got potential there. Hazel and Lyon not normally relied upon, but that's okay. You don't like this type of cricket? Okay. Australia's great batting. Where are you from? Where am I from? I'm from Australia, Sydney, Australia. Pitch was good. Pakistan got 6 wickets, 7 wickets, in fact. Yeah, with nothing wrong with the pitch at all. I mean, it's a commendable pitch. It's not breaking up. There's a storm action here, guys. Love from India, occupied Kashmir. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what that comment's meant to mean. But look, whether you're from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, England, New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, West Indies, let's be honest, it's cricket. England, of course, Ireland, Holland played. There's a whole host of great nations now in cricket, even America. Thanks, Javier, if you subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Please, that's one thing. Anyone that's viewing now, please view, like, and share the posts. Subscribe, hit the notification button. Eyes on cricket there, but memorabilia here as well. Memorabilia, there's merchandise, merch, as you say. If Pakistan and Australia will play Test cricket more and more with each other, then there are chances of becoming Pakistan one of the best dominating sides. I agree, totally and utterly agree. It shouldn't be the domain of only England and India now. It should include Pakistan. It should include even Sri Lanka needs more. New Zealand need to play more than 2 tests in the series, and I never understood that. But it's scheduling, it's money. There's a lot of issues that we just really can't control. But yeah, there's been a triumvirate. We know there's been a triangle of power between England, Australia, and India, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they need to envelop that more countries. And then, look, the ICC, Mr. Allardyce was there, CEO, and he handled it beautifully. He talked very highly about the whole thing. It was really well received. Australia played there. Both England and New Zealand are going to play there. It's certainly on the cards now that we can go back to normal here. What's your prediction on ongoing test between Aussie and Pac? This is probably going to be a draw. But I still think there could be a 1-1 result from the other 2 matches. Alpha, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm trying to get... COVID's been terrible. It's made it really difficult for me. But I have tried to get to India, and I'm now trying to go at least Lahore. That would be great. Now, Mike Hazeman, who's the commentator originally from Australia, he's based in South Africa and is involved with Pakistani television. He's now having a bit of a chat about bowling, I'm guessing, or batting, or collaboration. Let's see. And they're going to talk about the sweep shot. And there's no doubt that the Pakistan batsmen play the sweep shot better. Now, Sajid Khan's coming in, and Labuschagne did play some reasonable shots. Why leg spinners are not much effective and preferred to Test cricket and in modern cricket? I don't know. I don't know. There should be more of them. A good leg spinner, Shane Warne's an example. Shane Warne's a big example. Big example. All right, guys, and I can see that they're showing where a normal setup and where they're sweeping. So they're showing the balls were probably more outside off stump than not when they were sweeping. And in some cases, they're more on leg stump than not when they were sweeping. And it did show a lot of effect, and the Pakistan bowlers knew what they were doing. Why didn't Ismail Quaid play in India last series? He is better than Harrison Wade. Good question, Maham. I have no idea. Harris, to me, was never ahead, and Wade was never ahead. Should always have been Khawaja. They made a big mistake there. I can't wait white ball series because white ball's Rawalpindi's high scoring too. Okay, he mentioned, well, we'll see. They're playing quite a few games. They're playing ODIs and T20 there after the test matches. Yeah, it'll be interesting. They're very interesting indeed. So, guys, ask me questions because we've talked about the match. Of course, Pakistan are 4 for 476 declared. Australia are now 7 down for 449. They're still 32 or thereabouts off. Are they 32 off? What's the difference now? They're not many off, but they're still only 3 wickets left. Whereas Pakistan didn't need to use any more than 4 wickets down. So it's in their favour, that stat. No doubt about that. But yeah, the concerns sitting around were around the sweeping of the Australians. That was the downfall of their batters. Comments on Shaheen's World Cup opening spell against India. Fantastic. This was practice match, test match for Australia, nothing else. Boring. It shouldn't be called that. I'm not going to say what that Sophie, so I'm not sure what that means, but All right, so we're doing pretty commendably. Mike Hazeman's a very very polished commentator. Played cricket in Australia. Did he make a test level? I don't know. Actually, I don't know whether Mike Hazeman actually played for Australia or not. PKMKB. Yeah, this leg spinners are something about. I love from neighbouring country. Where is this country? I've never heard of it before. Let's get this guy. Should Hassan Ali work become all-rounder? Maybe. Pakistan do not lack great players. We know that they've got some of the best players in the world, as has India as well. But Australia's got a pretty good side, but not as much depth there, I must say. Certainly lacking in a bit of depth. Let's have a look here. Yeah, they're showing that I think they're going. They're looking at if they're bowling. They weren't bowling. Bowling probably a good average. Weren't seems length person. You will. Yeah, they didn't handle the bowling as well as they should have either. I have to agree with that. So what are we looking for here? We're looking at Mike Hazeman. That's what I want to see. I want to see how many Mike Hazeman. I think it's man, isn't it? It's men. No, let me say that properly. Haysman. Why can't they find the cricketers at stats? All records. That's very, very bad thunder, guys. Are you in Pakistan? I'm in a thunderous place at the moment. That's where I am. Normally, can our selectors get a chance? Young guns like Henry Hunt, Bryden Sweet, Street, Jason Sanger, and they'll get a go. They'll get a go before too long. How much do you rate the commentary? And that's saying Mark Nicholas. I have not much of a liking of Mark Nicholas. I'm sorry. Nasser saying he's okay. Mark Nicholas, I'm not a fan of, to be honest. Really, honestly. I won't go into the detail, but he doesn't impress me. That's just my thoughts. Are you in Pakistan? No, but I will be hopefully later, third test, with a bit of luck. All right, so I'm going to find Mike Hazeman, Australian. Let's look at Australian batters. Australia test matches. I don't know what's happened here, but we're looking for Mike Hazeman, Haysma. Is it man or men? I don't know. Oh, Houseman, why does it keep changing? Oh, God. So I'm trying to find Mike Hazeman's record of what he's played. For him, Ashraf will play Karachi test. Oh, that'd be great. Why Australia is playing slow, a good package? Yeah, they're missing a chance. They just haven't been able to go on to it. They haven't been able to dominate. They've been a bunch of Pakistani bowlers that bowl very well. It's as simple as that. Hazeman, why is it not letting me put? Here we are. He's actually 61, so he's 3 years younger than me, older than me. Michael Donald Hazeman, he's age 60 at this point. First class career player, 103 matches, scored 5,977 runs, 180 was his highest. He's got 1,350, 24 50s. He played twice for Australia in youth tests. Was a right-hand batsman who made an early good impression with South Australia, hitting 126 in his first class innings against Queensland at Adelaide in 82. So Yeah, so he actually emigrated, came from Australia, and he was from South Australia. He actually went to South Africa. Interesting. People don't often do that. They don't often migrate to South Africa. Australian players generally are pretty aggressive. Is Mickey Arthur English or South African? South African. No doubt he's South African. He's coached in Australia. He's coached all over the world. He coached in Pakistan. He certainly is Australian. Pakistan. He certainly is. Just trying to find the spot. David Jeff Thompson going off. Oh, I was just putting a thing there. AFL has Australian rules for ball, and his work is kind of not there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's certainly. So Mike has never played for Australia as such. I thought he did, but he didn't. Okay. Australian team, why rest many senior cricketers for ODI? Well, they're probably going on to the IPL, SPLs. Who will win this test series? At this point, I don't. We'll draw the first match. Look like heading for a draw. Really, 1-1 is probably a fitting result, or if not a Pakistan victory, because they've been really, really good. So your first match from 82 to 83 to 93 for almost 10, 11 years. And actually, Mike Hazen, I think, went to South Africa as well, from it all. So yeah, he was a pretty solid batsman. First class career we're talking about. He played for. It was an Australian 11, but not Australia. Played for South Africa. Sorry, South Australia, I should say. Northern Transvaal, and Leicestershire. While I'm off break, top order batter. Born April 22nd, 1961, in North Adelaide in South Australia. There you go. Who's going to win this? I think it's going to be a draw. Chairman of the PCB, Ramesh Raja, who's a great guy, has been talking about core quality pitches in Pakistan and came up with the ideas of improving, including dropping pitches. Well, okay, we'll wait and see whether that's worthy of being done. Is Mitchell Starc repeat 250 hours? Yeah, Mitchell Starc's had better days. Still a great record, no doubt, but he has had better days. Don't you think? Like Scott Boland should be pressing for selection, really. One of drop Mitchell, fast bowlers, last one. Yeah, well, he played well in the Ashes series, I'll give him that. But they've got to find a spot maybe for Scott Boland or definitely Ashton Agar for the next one. Moulton is a better venue than Rawalpindi. Next time, PCB should consider. Well, then, Marham, you have to suggest it to your own cricket board. I can't do that. But if that's a better ground than Moulton, go there. For sure. Who's going to win this? I said it probably this particular match a draw. The series could also be 1-1, and therefore a draw. All right. Any more questions, guys? Because I'm going to, again, if you're online and you're not subscribed, like 95% of the people lately have been not subscribing. They've been viewing but not subscribing. Hit the subscribe button. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't hurt you to do that. It's free service. What are the differences between South African pitches and Australian pitches? They're not a hell of a lot different, actually. They're both pretty fast-paced, quite bouncy. They suit both bowling attacks, for sure. They're certainly very similar. Who can replace David Warner in the future? Well, there's quite a few. Don't worry about that. Flattest pitch I've seen in the last 5 years, my thoughts. It's pretty close to that, but that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't have to be all the same. Mitchell Starc, why not drop last 2 years? No good. Well, I think his days are numbered. And I think they may actually start with the next test. They may need to bring someone like Scott Boland or definitely Ashton Agar in. So there will be a change, I think, in the bowling line. Batting-wise, I'm not a Travis Head fan, but he's going to stick around for a little bit longer. He scored centuries in the Ashes series, so he can't be taken out. But, yeah, Khawaja's a special. Absolutely brilliant. Very happy that Khawaja's there. Marcus Harris won't be getting a look in it anytime soon. Nor will Bukowski. Bukowski's 10, 12 head injuries. His concussions has scared me and should be scaring him. And at such a young age, he isn't destined for much. Let me just show you some of the paper. While I've got you guys, let's show you some of the paper. I think I did show. You got that lovely one there, Warren. Obviously, Warren's on the front pages everywhere. There's a few more I've got that are all worn. Understandably, it'll be like, oh, heaven help the day that Tendulkar dies. Oh my God, the Indian press will be in mourning for years. Understandably, he's such an icon for the country. Same would be if Afridi passed in Pakistan, or Inzamam ul Haq, for heaven forbid. Can Muhammad Yusuf help Abdullah Shafiq to be a good moment? I think he can, absolutely. No one will forget how Warren made Rajasthan Royals champions in 2008. Yeah, exactly. And that's Mohsin Sheikh, who I have as a guest the last few sessions, was instrumental in that group too. And he revered Warren, and he won the world. He was the captain coach of them. He's done the same thing in the 100. The man was amazing. Yeah, and that's right. Can India will watch Australia in the upcoming series? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case at all. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the case at all. Josh, best bowler world cricket. Josh Hazlewood, he's up there. He certainly is up there. Every cricketer's dream to play the IPL. Yeah, I think so. Play for their country as well would be a massive dream, wouldn't it be? It'd have to be right up there with the best for all dreams. I'd love to be able to play for my country. Would have been an ultimate thing, wouldn't it? Absolutely ultimate thing to have played for your country. No doubt about that at all. Let's have a look here. Does it show the lights? We had 20, again, please view, like, and share. Every cricketer dream club it is. Please view, like, and share the post, subscribe, hit the notification button, go to Eyes on Cricket with Norman Koshnak here, hit the subscribe button, notification button, and share it, and share a like. Get other people involved. It would be great to see more and more people involved. It's my pleasure to be able to bring people together and have them discuss cricket. It's wonderful. What's this? Maybe Pakistan will win because Australia most race. It could be. Do you agree, Norman? After the retirement of Graham Warren has not performed as well in the club competition, especially against. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Absolutely, I would agree with that. We should see whether the press conferences have been completed and whether we're getting some responses here. No, they haven't been released yet, which is interesting. Yeah, they would have. It must have been long interviews. Very, very stormy here in Australia. Very, very stormy. There's some rather unfortunate comments being made on my social media, but that's right. We choose to ignore some of those comments, guys. And we're getting magnificent stats here. Magnificent stats. So, can Pak's team perform in the 2020 World Cup? They certainly can. Bangladesh versus South Africa, 28th March. That's good. Aussie selectors not getting the chance to Josh Philippe, ODI, impressive. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's also Josh Inglis as well. True. The same Australian players might not be able to white ball cricket. Yeah, correct. Australian cricket mentally very strong. Asian cricketers are emotional. I know a few Australian cricketers are also pretty emotional. Don't you, Warren? They're not exactly devoid of that. They get hurt very easily, and it's not exactly plain sailing, I can assure you. Let's have a look here. Any more questions, guys? Any more questions, guys? We're going to get close to the time to. Okay. Why is Sri Lanka struggling in Test cricket? Great question. I don't know. They've always had a lot of depth. Some administration's got it wrong. The selection's a bit wrong. There's to and fro. No Aussies player made 100. Why? What's that? 100 matches. There's been some. Tamim Iqbal, captain of the ODI. Okay. Should the national coach of cricket team be the national selector at the same time? No, it didn't work with Selwood from England, so no, it's not going to happen. Well, it just didn't work there at all. At all. So no, it's not going to be a working thing, I don't think. All right, so can Cam Green play ODI cricket? He is an absolute gun. He's a bit young. They're probably holding back. I don't know why. Sat Vic Bakaria, one of my favourite. Asian cricket is emotional. So what only team can be Australia gave it. It was quite an amazing performance by India. Absolutely. Umar Akmal, any chance of ODI against Australia? Who knows? He could well be still in the mix. He's a bit old in the tooth now. He's not a young chap, is he? Have had 1 million views on my account the last 28 days. That's pretty damn good. 13,700 hours. Subscriber channel is 5,500. I'm very happy with it. Okay, any more questions, guys? It's now 12:30 a.m. Tomorrow, do you think Aussies will declare? No, they're going to be. No, they're not declaring. Hi, Zahid Ali. They're not going to be declaring. So why would they declare? They want to get in front. I think as many runs as they can. But hopefully they've got 30 runs to get. They're 3 weeks in hand. Very likely not to go past them. They don't really deserve to because don't forget Pakistan only 4 down. It wasn't as if they were struggling to get that scoreline. They were well and truly in charge, weren't they? All right. Heard that the PC is going to declare their captain today. RCB, not PC. Okay. All right. Well, let's hear. I haven't heard. Which still team play IPL Smith? He's not playing for anyone at the moment. He hasn't got a contract in the IPL. Your prediction of 2-0 Oz and 2-0 Pat? No, I think it won't be 2-0. It'll be 1-1 with this being a draw, I'd say. That's what I predict. All right, guys. It's coming up to 1.5 hours, 12:30 a.m. in the morning here in Australia, which is what, 6:30 p.m. in Pakistan, which is a pretty good time. Vera at 8,000 test runs. That was fantastic. I'm very impressed with that, forgetting that it was not 100 runs that he scored. That's okay. Real test will be in Karachi, Lahore, both these teams. You're correct. It's going to be very, very tough there for both teams. We'll see how Australia can handle it. At the moment, they handled it okay, but no one scored a century, so I'm not overly impressed at all, to be honest. All right, guys. Those 35 people that are online at the moment, please view, like, and share the post. Not all of you are subscribed. Hit the notification button. Share the video with other people. Get and recommend it to be a part of this great group, and we can talk about all sorts of things. Why is Stark not able to swing? I don't know. Good question. He hasn't been doing that much. Do you know Rayner never missed an IPL match from 08 to 15 for his franchise CSK? Will this record be ever beat? Recommending a play on? Please answer. I don't think so, Sadvik Bhagara. I think that Suresh Rayner's efforts were monumental. A very commendable player, and he knew his limitations and played very well. He was a very commendable player indeed. So a lot of time for him. Okay. Any other questions? Most of the Aussie missed milestones. Smith, exact collage, they all missed hundreds, all of them, all 50s, exactly. Rizwan's quick keeping stands were okay. I'm not sure how his hands are. I'm just waiting for Pakistan versus India. Well, after one, don't wait. Watch what we got now. Most of the time, yeah. Let's watch this now. This is what's fun to watch. All right. All right, guys, it's now very close to 1.5 hours, and I promised myself I wouldn't go over that. So any more questions? You've got 30 seconds to ask questions. Go for it before we, unless you subscribe, it might get longer, but I see more I see my subscriptions go up. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm just waiting for, oh wait, I already asked that question. Yeah, Labuschagne missed on 100. Obviously, Khawaja deserved it as well. Didn't get the 100. Green missed out on his 50. Then both Warner and Smith got good totals and could have went on. They didn't. Yeah, quite frustrating day in a lot of ways. Karachi pitch is a spin pitch, Norman. We're interested to see how the shows play out. They're going to have to play Shenango at some stage. Mitchell's Webster, I don't think, deserves a chance unless they're getting quite desperate. I want to give Nathan Lyon a complete rest, but he won't want a rest. Shahid Afridi and Abdul Razak played 21 cricket. Yeah, they were pretty impressive, though, the way they were freaks of nature. They were great players. All right, guys. View, like, and share the post. Subscribe to these places. Norm Koch is my Twitter, Instagram handle, and Norman Koch links my Facebook and my LinkedIn. Is M. Marsh a chance to play? No, it's close, but Cameron Green's keeping him out. All right, guys. Take care. I want you all to keep viewing. You've got 30 odd people there, which has been great, and I'm very proud of that. It's great for us to be able to host more. So Karachi pitch is all take spin. Okay, that's good. And I always say all took spin. All right. Goodbye, guys. Have a great night.